Sco Buffs. USC Trojans.
I'm trying to find out if I can hear myself speak. There we go. On your way in this bitch, hit the like button, man. Show some love. You dig? Them Trojans. How are you guys doing, man? Come on in. When you come on in, hit that like button. Put your name in the comment section of who you are, who you watching, why you watching, or in what, if you're in my league, what team you have. We got a national championship that's going to be played tonight. We also got off season coming right behind it. I don't know. I don't have a complete time when the game will kick off yet, though. That's the problem. I'm trying to get it kicked off by 7, 8 at the latest, but 9 might be the aiming point for Coach Max. But we can keep y'all very entertained all day long if you decide to come in and take a look at what we got going on in Homecoming League, Homecoming 2, Season 3. We're on our way to Season 4 after tonight's national championship in New Orleans. We in my boy Rand neighborhood, you heard? Tune into the show. Us too. Once again, once you come in this bitch, type your name in the comment section and let us know who you are, why you are, what you are, when you are, what team you got at Homecoming 2, and we'll go from there. We'll talk about the future of Homecoming 2. We are on our way to Season 4. In 2025, the Arizona State Sun Devils won the national title. Coach Brandon Brandon Bully.
Arkansas ready to lock in, but I'm having fun.
My boy. What up, Coach Carter? We waiting for Coach Carter to get back to being Coach Carter, man. We got a lot of talking. We're going to talk about the Power 4 and the structure with the Power 4. They got my boy Taste. What's up, Taste? Y'all better stop playing my boy Taste, man. I'm trying to tell y'all.
Washington taped in Paw Prince.
Hey.
Two wool asses.
J. Coon, OTL, Washington tape. Let's go. Oh yeah, I gotta give you take care of that quarterback. I still ain't do it yet. And there's the
Who versus who will be legendary.
Yes, sir. There's the national champion from last year, Coach Max is in the building. What's up, legendary? You already know. Hit that like button on y'all way in, man. Make sure y'all put y'all team name in that comment section, and those that tune in live will get a 2-speed to excel on a freshman of their choice. It could be a redshirt freshman or a true freshman, or you can wait.
What time y'all looking at kickoff?
For your incoming recruiting class to be able to use it then. So you got 3 times to use it. You can use it a redshirt freshman, or an incoming freshman once the class come in. I think 9 at the latest. I would like to kick off around 8. Max will let us know shortly.
Oh shit, ... let me get some dilly.
What up, dilly? My boy Burgers. Hero. We are the heroes. Look for me. Dilly, man. We ain't hear them glasses go cling in a while. What's up? All I know is when Dilly do pop on, he be giving niggas a run for their money when he pop on that Penn State program. We're going to talk about every Power 4 conference and every user team in those conferences and where I think they are. You're going to get my opinion on what the 2027-2028 season will look like and all the Power 4 conferences. We're going to find out what teams I think that's up on the rise, that's at the top of the mountain, what teams that are going to be getting that while they're standing at the top of the mountain, going to be getting challenged. People going to be throwing rocks at the throne. And there go Bully Murray. Gator in the building. What's up, man? We starting to get the guys on now, man. We got a lot to talk about, though. We have a whole lot to talk about. I'm gonna start with the All Americans for a second because what I want to do is I want to talk about all the underclassmen. Because this segment right of the show is going to be about what the 2027-28 season going to look like. Season 4
Ohio
and
State.
homecoming. There you
You
go.
let me down, Marie.
Antonio. Yeah, I asked Brandon what did he have connection issues in his ball game. He said nah, because remember that night it felt like a lot of people was complaining about connection and shit. So, when
We
you that
deserve to
good,
see you/ASU again.
when you that
I
good, you
let
think,
myself down face with tears of joy.
yeah. But when you that good, people question why you lost, right? Like, damn, what happened? Something happened? Like, but the run game got in the way of Arizona State's run. But I'll tell you one thing, if that team stay together is on.
Loudly crying face in BS.
But again, I'm starting with the All Americans list right now because I want to talk about what the future look like, right? And you got to start with the players that's been recognized as All Americans first, right? I don't think I have to. I'm not going to go to second team, but I am going to show first team and then freshman because again, this segment of the show is all about what next season is going to look like, right? We're going to try to predict each conference and who's going to be what, right? And what they look like and who's been doing a hell of a job programming right now, right? So you take a look at Atori Newkirk. Now he's only 89 overall, but the kid has been the best quarterback in college football over the last 3 seasons. Now, in the mix of that, there's been guys that can challenge that claim, but complete starter, right? Will he come back? He played in a national championship last year, losing to the champions Oklahoma, and then he finished in the semifinals this season and an overtime thriller with Colorado. But is that enough to make him come back? In a sense of, does he feel like he still got more to give in college football? Because I think that's going to tell a story of North Carolina. If their signal caller comes back for year 4, I think this team, and without him, I think they'll still be a great football team. But I think this team is going to take that next step, right? Like where they should be one of those teams we talk about as favorite to be in a national championship, in my opinion. But it all comes back down to what this junior does. Does he go in the NFL draft, or does he decide to come back and give college one more shot? I got a feeling it's the Ricky Williams
Newkirk back
story.
equals natty or bust.
Yes, sir. I was watching the Ricky Williams Heisman year run where he came back for his senior year and why he came back. And I think Atori Newkirk can have that same type of story, right? What hasn't he done? What hasn't he done? He was responsible for the 2026 Heisman winner. He
Will
was
Griffin
also,
gonna be QB1 in the B1G next year?
boy, you got a quarterback room, so you in a comfortable situation. But Atori Newkirk won the Heisman this year. He was responsible for the Heisman winner last year, and some would say outside of that season that receiver Nathan Leacock had, Newkirk probably could have won back-to-back Heisman off of what he did in 2026, not just 2027. So personal accomplishments, he's been the best quarterback in homecoming, right? So I don't really know if personal goals will be something that will make him decide to come back, right? He's the career national leader in passing yards with 20,235 yards passing in 2 years. In 3 years. He leads all of college football history in passing touchdowns with 257 in 3 years. So I really don't think there is anything as far as personal goals, personal records that really will attract him back to North Carolina, right? Obviously, winning another Heisman, be one of a few that done it, right? Tim Brown won it twice. The Ohio State running back, I think, won it twice. But
Lol
I
at
don't.
Falk.
But I know, is that enough to make this kid come back? And then you're looking at overall, 89 overall. Is it more that he could put on the plate, or more that he can do to get better to actually solidify him being the number one pick in the 2027 uh, draft? But
Like
winning a
20K in 3 years.
man, like seriously, does a Heisman winning the Heisman back to back years, does that matter to Torrey Newkirk? Let's just call it what it really is. I don't think none of that shit matters for Torrey Newkirk and his
257/3 is 85 TD a season, fellas.
what's wrong, Mom? Huh?
Said you got everything done?
Yes, ma'am. Are you done everything? All right. So do you need anything? Do you need anything?
Well, I'm just waiting for what?
Good fucking night, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the
You want
floor
smoke?
laughing.
You said you want to smoke?
It's okay.
Yeah, Mom. That's fine. But let's call it what it is. Like you listening to Max tell you what he did in 3 years, right?
With me?
Mm-mm. I'm doing a podcast show, so I'm talking to people on headset.
It's okay?
Yeah, you're fine. Just go ahead and smoke that, but just relax, okay?
I'm going in the room.
You going in your room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. You good? Everything good? Okay. All right. Love you. All right. 257 touchdown passes in 3 seasons is fucking ridiculous. Now, with that being said, I think Torrey Newkirk, if he decides to come back, it's for one reason only. And how many of y'all will disagree with this comment? He comes back because he wants a national title. He wants to bring a national championship to North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm talking about not basketball, a football national championship. And him coming back is not a far-fetched situation. Like, they literally could, right? He had an opportunity, and those opportunities are not
That is the
easy.
only RZN you come back.
Yep. And he had an opportunity, and he lost his opportunity in 2026 to Oklahoma. They had another chance last night, and they lost that game in overtime. It was a hell of a fucking football game. It'll be posted soon too. I thought I uploaded it last night, but it didn't. But it'll be posted soon. But I think Newkirk, especially how the game ended, right? He got ball first in overtime and was, a couple good plays, and then threw a pick to lose the game. Like, he threw a pick, and Colorado was able to line that thing up for a field goal and get the fuck up out of there. So I think that takes in Torrey Newkirk's having that as his last impression of college football. I don't think he wants to go out like that. I think he comes back and he wants to take this well-balanced North Carolina football team to the national title game. And we'll get to the roster in a second, but I just wanted to show that, just talking about that's probably going to be one of the biggest storylines of the offseason. What's going to happen with Torrey Newkirk? But he's not the only quarterback that is draft eligible right now that could really, really hurt a football program by not coming back. All right. We had a really good running back class this class. I think the NFL is going to be really, really chopping at the bits to get these players coming in, because you got a whole bunch of athletes. You got a bunch of do-it-all, especially at the running back position, right? Quentin Joyner, he will be a highly sought-after running back. Now, are there any first-round running backs that first-round potential? Yes, there are. There are a few of them. And I'm not going to go off of what the game goes off of overall. I'm going to go off of production and who I think could be a first rounder, right? When you get Quentin Joyner, though, you ask yourself, you're getting a back that, is Marshall Faulk-esque in a sense. And Marshall Faulk being the running back coach for Colorado and assistant head coach and assistant offensive coordinator for the Colorado Buffaloes. Quentin has given you a season where the NFL will chop at the bits for this because you don't need, in the NFL, you're not really getting too many Derrick Henrys and every, 3 down backs that carry the ball 350 times a season and shit. You're not going to get that. But you could benefit from a kid that can do exactly what he did for his senior season, which was go for 1,000 as a rusher and 1,000 as a receiver. And I think that will make him a highly sought after player. But this conversation isn't about those that have to go to the NFL. This is those that potentially can go to the league and come back. And Justin Baker, the touchdown maker, he's coming back. And he was only 27 yards away from 1,000 as well. Now, I spoke to his team, right? I spoke to his team, his agent. I spoke to the head coach, and I spoke to his parents and himself. All right. Now, the agent was speaking on agent terms, right? For him to come back to Tennessee, the boosters are going to have to go in their pocketbook. Not just that, he wants to be used way more, right? He feel like the production he had was on limited touches, considering what he was doing all year long. 166 carries for 1476, 8 yards a pop. He also had 973 yards receiving, and they still didn't use him to his ability. Now, one of the big issues for him to come back was offensive coordinator. Now, they did fire their offensive coordinator. They fired their offensive coordinator. They've been trying to hire Peyton Manning as the OC. Peyton Manning doesn't want to take the job as of right now. Doesn't feel like it's ready. I think Peyton is waiting for his son to come to get to college before he takes a OC job. That's just my opinion. I think he's waiting for his son to be to enter college football before he decides to take a OC job. Rightfully so, I get it, right? But I think if there's he reminds me of Marshall Faulk, right? There's not a guy that played in the NFL that was smarter. And I would tell you Marshall Faulk was smarter than Peyton Manning, because when he played with Peyton Manning, he was the reason why Peyton Manning picked up on everything so fast, because Marshall Faulk was like having the OC in your huddle. And Peyton learned from that, and I think he became one of the smartest quarterbacks to ever put on a helmet, that ever lace him up. The question is, who's going to be the offensive coordinator? And Justin Baker was on record saying if they hire the right coordinator, it will heighten his chances of returning to the Volunteers. They want to get out of that bear and shoot. They don't want to be in that widespread shit. They want to get out and play more traditional football. And you saw that happening with Tennessee, right? You saw them with the heavy Maryland heavy You saw them under center a lot more. And I think Justin is comfortable with what they got in their quarterback room, right? It's going to be a quarterback battle in Tennessee next season. If you remember, Tennessee had the number one quarterback in the last two draft recruiting classes. They had the number one quarterback from the 26 class, who started Faison Brandon, and they had the number one quarterback in the 2027 class, and Kavion Bryant, who's also redshirted this year and will be good. So look, he'll come back for his senior year. Me personally, in my opinion, Justin Baker needs to come back for his senior year. Simple as that, right? Because you got to think about it. He got 1 year of production for real, right? And in 2026, he carried the ball 15 times. He had 11 carries in 2025. His breakout was last year, and I do think they underutilized him last year. But he averaged 9 yards a carry last year alone. I think he'll benefit from another year. And I do think he's the type of back that can go for 2,000 yards rushing. He's that talented. He has the skill set to really be a game breaker. One game that comes to mind with Justin Baker was the Miami Hurricane game, where he went off in that game. Let's go game logs, and we'll go to what he did. 14 carries for 276 yards. And he did that in 3 quarters. Because they didn't really give him the football in the fourth quarter at all. They were trying to bomb away to their All-American freshman receiver in Joe Wyatt. But he's showing you that he had the production, right? Like 1, 2, three, four, five, six, 7 games with 100 yards or more. And then at that Texas A&M, and the Missouri game, he went on a stretch where he was averaging 7.8, 16, and 7.5 yards a carry, and he went over 100 yards in all 3 of those games. If he comes back to Tennessee, I think they'll have one of the most explosive offenses in the SEC next year. At quarterback, they're gonna have a complete dog at quarterback. They're gonna have a great running back, a top 5 running back for sure. And then they got one of the best, if not the best receiver in college football right now, the new Jeremiah Smith and Joe Wyatt. So I like this situation, and in my opinion, I do think Justin Baker could bring himself back. Now, Joe Wyatt has no decisions on going anywhere. The only thing he could do is transfer the fuck out of Tennessee. And why would he do that? Well, he was the complete focal point of what Tennessee was this year. Joe Wyatt with 109 catches, 2,800 yards, 39 receiving touchdowns, 9 drops out of 109 catches. He dropped the ball 9 times, bro. We'll take that average as a freshman. Almost 1,000 yards after contact. I mean, this is the number 1 receiver from the 2027 class, and he did not look like a rookie at all. Like, I don't think you really can look at game logs and really think like, now, granted, everybody that come in got growing pains and got to, develop, and he's one of them, right? But when you log in what he did game in and game out, right? Like, you looking at, I mean, he opens up the season on a stretch that I don't think too many receivers can really stand on. If you can find me one receiver in the history of college football that opened up as a freshman, that opened up their college career with these type of numbers, you'll tell me something I've never seen before. I've never seen this before. Against Indiana, 13 catches for 280 yards, 4 touchdowns. In the Colorado game, week 2, he went fucking crazy. 9 catches, 251 yards, 28 yards a catch, 3 touchdowns in that game. In the Notre Dame game, he had 10 catches for 335 yards and 5 touchdowns in that game, averaging 34 yards a catch. It took him literally to week 7 against Ole Miss to come back to earth and look human. In the Miami game, 4 catches for 119, 30 yards a catch, 2 touchdowns. He came back to earth in the Ole Miss game. But I do think they realized it, because if you look at what happened, the production started to go down. And I think at this point, they started to realize that, we love our freshmen and we love what our sophomore quarterback is doing, getting him the football, but it wasn't resulting into wins. Because you got to think about it. They had the lead in the Colorado game twice. They had a 20-3 lead at halftime and a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. In the Notre Dame game, they had the lead early and lost that lead, losing that 70-49. They got dog walked. But you could see what was happening. It was all about the receiver and not the football team. And this is why Justin Baker and his team is like, wait, like we're good enough to do some things, but we can't do it if the offensive coordinator is placating a one player. In the LSU game, 7 catches for 168. Miami, 4 for 119, 2 touchdowns. And then his production went down, but the win started to pile up. Ole Miss, that was a terrible game, right? Now he was nursing a hamstring in that game that he got in the LSU game. But then he went bonkers. He comes back off that Ole Miss game, 6 catches, 170. Again, production went down, targets went down, W started to happen. 63-21 over Texas A&M, 8 catches, 177, 2 touchdowns. In the Missouri game, 19 for 378, went back up to being who he is, 5 touchdowns. Comes right back to South Carolina, goes bonkers, 8 for 315, 39.4 yards a pop, 6 touchdowns. Auburn, he loses that game, 3 catches, 102. And this is where the confusion lie in that, because then you could say, wait, they didn't get him the football is the reason why that Auburn came in and beat him. And then they, in their rival game against Vandy, they dog walked them 246, 5 touchdowns. And then in the bowl game against Miami, they got their revenge, 10 catches, 222, 3 touchdowns in this ball game. Again, if any of y'all watching right now could show me one receiver that had a season like this as a true freshman all week. They went crazy in 2024 with Jeremiah Smith did. They talked about Jeremiah Smith as a freshman could come out right now and be the number 1 pick in the draft. So what does that say about Joe Wyatt? This is what's coming back to Tennessee. I'll get to their roster as well, but we just want to talk about big-time players and why college football is in good hands. Homecoming is in good hands with the talent that's in homecoming right now. I don't think people to this day right now is respecting Cooper Reed. Cooper Reed came in 2025, in that 2025 class, 2026 class, after the championship year, and he came in as their second best recruit in that class. But nobody was talking about him. Like, outside of Arizona State, he only had 3 other Power 4 offers. Everything else was group of 5. Nobody saw what Coach Bully saw in Cooper Reed. Now, why do you miss it? Stereotype. It's the same stereotype for black quarterbacks when they come out of the NFL. They deemed him as a route artist and as a slot receiver, and it was always about what white slot receiver was good in the NFL as a player comp. And when I was on the Guru show talking about the recruits coming in, I kept telling y'all to stop giving this kid those type of player comps. This is not an Edelman. This is not that. And I said, start taking your conversation a little higher.
Texas.
And I started to talk about player comp as in Amarion Cooper. That's who I saw, right? But faster. But he's a workout warrior. This kid didn't just come into college football as a specimen. But by the time he got to this sophomore year, he developed into something not too many other guys developed into. Like, he got completely faster and he got better as a player, and yet he still got so much room to grow. And to be honest with you, outside of Joe Wyatt, this might be the best receiver coming back. You got to think about this, right? You got the first 2 receivers on this list went over 2,000 yards, went over 20 plus touchdowns. You can't name one other receiver. I can, but I don't know nobody that's watching will be able to name another receiver in Tennessee's program right now, outside of their head coach. But Cooper Reed wasn't the only guy in Arizona. Wasn't the only guy in Sun Devil Stadium. He had 3 other receivers that went over 1,000 yards as well and double-digit touchdowns as well. So for him to have that type of production with 2 other receivers, that absolutely 4 other receivers, we can go 3 other receivers that had production out this world that some guys starting number 1 receivers had, right? Tells you the system is great over there in Arizona State, but this kid became the number 1 when everybody thought Jaron Hamilton would be the number 1 over there, right? He was the veteran. He was the true freshman during their championship run. And Cooper Reed, all he did was put his head down and work. Amarion Cooper style, bro. Like, I think he's going to be unstoppable next year. Like, you're going to have to, and it all comes down to what happens at quarterback for them. But this is, to me, is exactly what we're watching on All-American list, and that's the second best receiver in college football. And you'll look at Joe Wyatt numbers and say, yes, he's the best receiver in college football. And I wouldn't disagree with it, especially as a true freshman doing the things he did, right? But I think Cooper Reed had to share the wealth. And you could argue he is the best receiver in college football, right? This is not an Edelman. This is not a Cooper Cup. This is not that, right? This is not none of that. This is a guy that you better roll coverage to, and then you can't roll coverage to because they got three other guys that if you cheat him, then they're gonna go crazy. And then while you still rolling coverage to him, he still hits you for 75 catches, 2,225 yards, 28 touchdowns. And I don't think a guy like this who got it to figure it out, right? His why is the reason why he is who he is, and right? And you find Hall of Famers with the work ethic that he has right now. He got work ethic like Hall of Famers, right? Guys that are wearing gold jackets and are the best receivers in NFL history he works like that. He got the Jerry Rice workout where he run the hills and all that good shit like that. Walter Payton's that work like he's never finished. He's never satisfied. And I do think that it's going to be a real big battle. And it's not going to just be between Joe Wyatt and Cooper Reed, but like we're going to have this conversation all next year in 2027, 2028 when you're watching with Cooper Reed. I think his NIL going to go up, right? Like I think right now what he did for Arizona State put him on a map, right? It completely put him on a map. And he started off doing that as a true freshman because this is not a bad freshman year with 72 catches, 1630, 17 touchdowns. As a true freshman, and he followed that up with 30 yards a catch and did exactly the numbers that y'all saw right now. This kid come back. This is why if I'm Achilles Smith Jr. as a redshirt sophomore and my first year playing, having a starting job as a quarterback in college football, I'm starving, right? Getting knocked out of the playoffs in a game that y'all was expected to win. I'm starving. I'm coming the fuck back because I like the weapons I got coming back. And Cooper Reed is the reason why I will come back if I'm Achilles Smith because he wanted so much and make you want it. Like you would think that Arizona State with Achilles Smith Jr. back in the building and Cooper Reed developing along with the other two receivers, I think you got to put them in a conversation of national championship or bust. Flat out dog. If you watch me or you watch my shows or you play in my league, you know in 2025 Corey Sadler was on Colorado's roster, and he was the next Travis Hunter on Colorado's roster, and North Carolina will use him that way right now. They developed him as a complete receiver, as the number one athlete. He's number one athlete in Detroit, but he was the number 7 athlete in the country in the 2026 class. And he signed with Belichick. He signed with Hoodie and Coach Falk. And guess what? In real life, you will see him in Colorado before 2026 season start. He will flip and go to Colorado. I promise you that. But 84 catches, 25 yards as the number 1 receiver over there. 1,806 yards. 85 was his long, almost 1,000 yards after contact. And Sadler, I wish you could see his stats on defense as well, but he's that guy, and he will play a bigger role defensively this year, coming back as a junior. What you didn't realize with North Carolina was in the first 2 seasons they had a receiver, and last season they had a receiver room, and not just that, they had speed, right? And you start looking at these guys: 98 speed, 96 excel, 96, 96, and Corey up to a 98, 98. These guys are game changers. They are one play makers, right? One play makers. That's what they do. And they got the talent to be able to do all that. But then when you combine that with other talent around it, you ask yourself this, right? Out of the 3 receivers I'm talking about right now, Justin Baker is the playmaker with Joe Wyatt. But in Arizona State's arsenal, they got a bag of running backs, and they got another 3 receivers that are fucking lights out big time. And it's the same thing here with North Carolina. North Carolina went from 1 receiver with solid speed to having one of the fastest receiver rooms in the country. Don't be surprised if Corey Sadler is holding up the Heisman Trophy at the end of the year. And he's going to do it because he's going to give you the Travis Hunter effect, where you're going to see him making plays on defense as a corner, and you're also going to see him go crazy as the number 1 receiver in North Carolina. And the talks with Coach Falk was that they're going to use him at running back. They're going to do what Colorado does with Draylon Miller. They're going to put him in the backfield and allow him to run the football. They're going to Debo Samuels this kid. And I think the production going to go up next year, but it's going to go up in numerous ways. I think you're going to see a guy that's close to 1,000 yards rushing. Even with Demon Jones in the backfield, you're going to see a guy that's going to have close to 1,000 yards rushing. He's going to be somewhere near that 2,000 yard receiving mark, and he'll end up with like 30 tackles and 5-6 interceptions on defense. And if he does that, you're looking at the 2028 Heisman winner. How many of y'all agree, just looking at the All-American first team list, that the future is bright for homecoming, right? Now you start looking at offensive line, and Brighton Close, left tackle, freshman Najee Cheeseman for Ohio State, junior Elijah Thurman for Clemson, junior Brandon Baker for Texas. And you start looking at the offensive lines around the country, and you're going to ask yourself, right, who comes back? Does Brandon Baker return, or does he go to the NFL? Does Elijah Thurman return? Right? Najee Cheeseman got to come back, and so does Brighton Close. They got to come back. Then you start looking at the offensive line, and you start realizing, and we'll do a separate segment on just the old lines in college football. But there are some teams that got some, like think about it like this: Arizona State has been starting freshmen over the last 2 seasons at the offensive line, right? So by the time these guys get to their junior years, they've been playing together for 3 years. It's gonna be some really good offense explosion, because they're gonna better block it, they're gonna better move you out the way to run it, and they're gonna better keep their quarterbacks clean. And you're gonna see schemes take the next level step because of the O-line play in some of these programs. All right, defense won championships, and on the defensive side of things, we're looking at underclassmen. Damata Pecco Jr. led the college football and sacks this year with 36. Smash, 60 tackle for losses, 4 fumbles, 52 total tackles, and he's a true sophomore. He played as a freshman, but didn't start as a freshman. Started his first season at Colorado, and he didn't disappoint, right? Records out the world. He'll come back and make that defense. Colorado has 8 returning starters on defense. All of them are either freshmen or sophomores. Trey Giddens, the D tackle for North Carolina, as a redshirt sophomore.
All-American. Thoughts?
I would say this. I don't think that's a concern, right? Like, if Oklahoma doesn't have no All-Americans on this list, first team All-Americans, I'm not concerned about that. They're playing in the national championship for the second year. They didn't win a championship because of All-Americans the year before. They won a championship because they were a complete football team. And I see the same thing right now. This is why they're playing in the national championship tonight, because they're a complete football team. You got D tackle Jeremiah Gibbs for Notre Dame, who had 10 sacks on the year, 24 tackle for loss as a redshirt freshman. He'll be back, the 6'2", 333, 30-pound gap specialist. Their D coordinator was on record saying they want him to put on another 10 pounds. Colorado's first 5-star in the 2026 class, the only 5-star they got in the 2026, is Rodney Colton Jr. is having an amazing season as well. 45 tackles, 33 tackles for loss, 1 fumble. I mean, when it comes down to linebackers, Colorado linebackers was going crazy in the playoffs, but the best linebackers in the country are on that Alabama roster, right? And you got good linebackers coming back. Rodney Colton Jr. will be back. KJ Mosley, who won Defensive Player of the Year, 50 tackles, 14 sacks. I mean, just think about the 45 tackle for losses, 6 interceptions. He can cover. He's a prototypical linebacker for the NFL, especially in modern day football, right? Where the passing the ball is everything. You need a linebacker that can cover. And KJ can do it all. He give you that throwback, Ray Lewis type linebacker that come up, make shit happen in the run game, catch a running back in the backfield, like 45 tackle for losses at middle linebacker is ridiculous. But that kid has to come back, and he will be one of the top picks when he do decide to come out. Arkansas's Tavion Wallace has played really good football for them. And me personally, I think this kid is a decision here. Like if I'm Arkansas, we're doing everything we can NIL wise to keep him around because Arkansas is looking to take that next step in the SEC. Right? They had high confidence in year one of going to the SEC championship game. That didn't take its course. And then over the next 2 years, it's been good play, but not great play, right? And because of that, I think they want to keep their big time players in the building to give them that burst to be able to turn this thing around, right? They're not having bad years. They just haven't extended into that conversation of elite football teams, right? And me personally, I think they have an elite coach, but I just don't think it's that it's lining up right now. So you can't lose a junior like this. You need him to come back for a senior year, play football for the Arkansas Razorbacks. DeMello Jones, cornerback, Georgia. He had 5 interceptions on the year as a redshirt junior. Georgia just plug and play. So I don't be surprised if DeMello Jones is in the NFL's draft. And then you're looking at safeties, Malik Esquera for Texas. He's a redshirt junior. He's coming back. You ain't got to worry about that. He'll be back. So when you start looking at like all Americans that's coming back, and then we take a look at the freshman list, there's some guys around the country. Like, I mean, Jerez Nunn should be the best quarterback in the country coming back off a 92 overall. Like, dog. Ozzy Osbourne, Javi, my boy Osborne, man. He decided not to go to Oregon and took the Notre Dame bag and said, let's get it. I think he will be a 1,500-yard rusher next year. They got a nice little running back room over there, but I do think he's the bell cow. They'll be solid over there. You're looking at running back Daquan Prevost for Arkansas. I mean, look, 180 carries, 966. He's another guy that was that close to 1,000 yards. And then the guy nobody's been talking about is Jaden Jefferson, who's another athlete that played both sides of the ball. 71 catches, 1589, 26 receiver touchdown. This man ran a 10-2. He is like having a smaller gadget. South Carolina, which is my boy name over there in South Carolina that run a 10-2 at 6'6". What's the receiver from South Carolina, fellas? I can't. His name's slipping me right now. But that's what Jaden Jefferson is. They couldn't figure out what they wanted him to play. They thought running back might be in his bag, but they ended up letting him be a slot receiver and a slot corner. Nick Harbor, there you go. And look, man, you can't teach it. Speed kill. There's 2 running backs who are running 4.3, 4.2 in North Carolina's receiver room. Here's another Colorado flip. Now, he's verbally committed to Alabama in real life, but best believe he will be a Colorado Buffalo before the 2026 season start in real life. But right now, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide, and he's a Coach Rand kid. And Shadarian Morgan is the biggest, strongest Terrell Owens type receiver in football, right? Nobody talked about Terrell Owens' speed. Well, Shadarian Morgan has the size and that, 97, and he had a hell of a year as a redshirt freshman with 71 catches, 28 touchdowns. Dog. I don't see how you stop him next season. I think he's such a physical specimen that I just don't see one-on-ones happening over there. If they can reload and retool that receiver room, he's going to be a menace. That's like having Henry Jr. over there, right? Chris Henry Jr. for Ohio State is another one of those guys that with a couple of complimentary receivers over there is on. Then you're looking at Deshaun Suvic as a redshirt freshman. He had 46 catches, almost 1,000-yard tight end, 9 touchdowns. Like, you just know his production is going to go up. The one thing that Ohio State is trying to do is, and they got the strength and conditioning program to get it done, but they want him to get to about 220 before it's all said and done. Right, like they see him at 6'6", 203 pounds right now, and he's more of a receiver at the tight end position. But they're working on him physically, and they're trying to get him as better as a blocker, and they want to get the weight on him. So I don't think that they won't put 15 to 20 pounds on this kid, and if they do that, and he keeps the speed and the athleticness that he has, boy. You giving Ohio State vibes of what do you do to stop us, right? Like, we can go in the air all day long, and we don't just got to go out there to the 3 receivers. We can come inside to the tight end, and then we can line up and give you 30 carries if we want as well. They if their quarterback come back, boy, they're going to be in situations. And then we start talking about the young old lineman, right? Kyle Trahan, Arizona State redshirt freshman. He started in 12 out of 13 games. You're looking at Najee Cheeseman, started 10 out of 13 games. Nebraska's, I don't care about that. Nick McRath, Arizona State. And you start to look at Arizona State, they got youth, they getting there, right? Their O-line is young, and they've been playing together, right? Whether they're sophomores right now or redshirt freshmen, this team has played together, and they'll all be back to play together. There's not a offensive lineman that Arizona State will lose due to the draft or due to eligibility running out on that roster, and that's how you build your program. Simple as that. South Carolina, Percy Skaggs. Then you start looking on the defensive side of things. LaMarcus Henderson. I mean, 15 sacks on a year as a true freshman. 6'6", 277 pounds. LaMarcus Henderson, I think he elite. I think he came in elite. Brandon, let me know if I'm right about that. Then they got Sine Tenji, who's also an edge rusher. So they got, as All-Americans, both their edge rushers are coming back, left edge and right edge. This is going to be serious over there. We talked about Gibbs. And then they got the 5-star that we was in a lock battle for, Nate Senior. He played all year long as well. And what he do in 13 games. He started 13 of them, 18 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and he's a tweener. Like, they plan him at D tackle, but he's really can play DN for
Both
them,
are
man, no
elite.
problem. Yep. So they're going to be special next year. This Arizona State team is going to be back to being a complete football team. And I think that's going to be dangerous for anybody to have to deal with. Arkansas, J.J. Bush at Sam. 5 pass deflected, 1 INT, 47 tackles, 6 sacks on the season. Started all 13 games. How about Jaden Griffin-Haynes? He's going to be a year developed, a year older. He'll be on his 3rd season as a redshirt sophomore next year. Same thing with Emmanuel Will linebacker. He'll be back. And then in the secondary, Deshaun Hopper, man. I mean, he had a hell of a year as a redshirt freshman. 4 interceptions, 10 pass deflections. Like, just think about it. That's 14 interceptions if we catch the interceptions instead of dropping them. Because out of those 10, only 3 of them was I watched bat downs, like where he just knocked it down. Other ones were just, damn, you should have picked that. Zach Cole, freshman, 1 interception on the year. He'll be back. He started 8 games for them. And then you got the elite Antoine Fournette at safety, who had 9 picks on the year. I'm tired of seeing it. Like, they are young and ready to go. They're going to be a problem next year. The more this team develops, the scarier it's going to look in the Big 12 and throughout the country, for sure. Same thing here. UCLA's Calais Thrasher, 4 INTs on the year as well, 30 tackles, 11 pass deflected at the safety position. So teams are going to look good next year, man. Like, guys are going to be in good situations to make shit happen next year, for sure. The fuck? Fuck out here. All right, let's talk about it right now. When we go to conference, let's go through the ACC first. And what we'll do is we'll start with the champions of the ACC, and then we'll go back down, right? So let's go to North Carolina first. All right. Again, Newkirk is going to be the reason they are a national title favorite, but they do have young Travis Burgess down here, elite, like a motherfucker, ready to go. So I do think, he's on the roster. He's been in the playbook. The way they train their quarterbacks, he'll be ready. So they are prepared for a Torrey Newkirk to go to the NFL. But if he doesn't go to the NFL, he'll get an extra year of development, and then we won't play football. Simple as that. I like what they got coming back in June in the running back game right now. Humphreys could come back. Also, Clarizio also can come back as a as a junior for a senior year. He got shirted, so he'll come back as a redshirt junior. So they're going to have solid running, and they did a good job in high school recruiting in the running back room. So we like what we see here. And development is everything, right? Sadler be back. He got to come back. We're looking at guys like Staley. Does he stick around? We're waiting for Adrian Wilson to take that next step. He committed to Colorado, and after spring football, he decided to go to North Carolina. He just hasn't made that step. I mean, he got the speed, got the size, he got everything you need, but he just hasn't made that step to really be impactful yet for this football team, right? No catches at all. I'm surprised. Like, this kid committed to about 7 colleges before he even stepped foot on the campus, and then got to a college and left by the spring. So the fact that he's still in the building in North Carolina tells you he kind of grew up a little bit, and he got, well, I don't think it's that he grew up. I think the leverage changed, right? When you're in high school, your leverage is higher, but now you don't got no production as a junior or a redshirt sophomore in college. You ain't did shit yet, so you can't really leverage yourself for nothing. What can you do besides sit on this roster, develop, and hope you get better to be able to be a factor next year? And I do think Adrian Wilson will be a big time player for this team next year. Like, if I look at this receiver room, I'm looking at Green, Jefferson, I'm looking at Staley coming back, Sadler. Like, they're gonna have 4 or 5 guys that can really be in the mix right now. And they got some young guys that's going to develop, like Cornell Warren, right? You're looking at Keon Chapman. These guys are in development stage, right? Looking at freshman Kamara Miles. They got some guys over there, man. Like, when they're gonna be fine. So they're not gonna be pressed for weapons, right? They're not gonna by default they will not be pressed for weapons right now. But then it comes down to they're gonna lose one of the better tight ends. This kid will get drafted in the first 3 round in the first 2 days of the NFL draft for sure. They bought the 5-star in that the Kansas State transfer and Lincoln Cure, and I think he'll be the guy for sure next season. I wonder if he's still a 5-star. He dropped down to a 4-star. That's crazy. Now, you can do what you want with weapons, right? So the story in North Carolina is Torrey Newkirk coming back. They're title contenders. They're national championship or bust. And they had one of the worst offensive lines in 2026. And flipped it to having one of the best offensive lines in 2027. And that's because they played all young cats, right? Barrett McWhort is going to be a junior next year. He's an 89 overall. They're already reading 91, so expect that to be his ceiling. Left guard 91, Will Conroy, true sophomore, right? So they'll be coming into their 3rd season as starters in this program under this staff, right? They're going to be looking for freshmen Joseph Edmond or VIB, and then they're going to be looking for the high school level or the transfer portal. What's wrong, Mom?
No, I said, did I do anything wrong?
No, you didn't do anything wrong, sweetheart. What do you need? You good? Give me a second. Here you go, babe. Yes, ma'am. When I'm done my podcast, I'm gonna take you out so you can go to the store. I know, I'll get it. There you go, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, okay with you?
Yep, he chilling.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So I do think they're gonna have to get better at center. I'm on the game, talking the game. Sorry. They're gonna get better at center, right? And I do think they brought some guys in through the high school rankings, and I also know transfer portal is available as well. So they are gonna lose a senior, but like to me, if you really look at it, I think this senior kept the starting job because of how strong he was, right, and how aware he was, 85 awareness. But I'm arguing I play the younger guy over the senior when this point differential is not that far apart, right? So in this situation, depending on how Edmond developed for them, is going to determine a lot there. But I think they're going to have to go find somebody in the portal, in my opinion. All right, right guard, another redshirt sophomore, Eden Buchanan. Now he's draft eligible, but they're not going to be worried about it because they are young at this right guard position. And they all impact. So in my opinion, they got guys, right? Especially if Buchanan come back. Now, if Buchanan come back, that's 3 out of 4 old linemen right now coming back for this football team. All of them read 90s right now with green arrows up. Then at right tackle, 89 Coleman as a junior. He will be draft eligible. I don't know if he leaves though. I think he comes back. And then they got a freshman down here in Josh Jew, who's a star, and with quick step right now. I think he'll develop until at least an 84, '85 or something like that. And then Dwayne Falk, Coach Falk's nephew, is on his roster as well, and he's a development piece. So their offensive line is going to be really good next year. And you can argue might be one of the best offensive lines in the country, like for sure, like top 5 type offensive line in the country. Now I'm saying that with an early look because you don't know what the development going to look like for guys. But as of right now, when it comes down to returning, they can return 4 out of 5 starters. There's not a team in the country that wouldn't want to return 4 out of 5 starters on the offensive line. Not just 4 out of 5 starters, dogs. Now, this is where they're going to be hit hard at. Yasir Smith, his production is going to the NFL. He should be a first rounder for sure, right? And at right edge, his production is going to the NFL, and he should be a first rounder for sure. Now, they're not hurting there, but that production is going to go, right? Black played a whole lot of football. He actually had a sack against us the other night. 12 sacks on the year as a backup. You still got Avion Williams as a redshirt freshman. They got some guys, right? So, like, and you still got some guys on red shirts right now. So they do got guys, right? Maggio will be solid as well. I think he'll develop into a high 80. Well, I could tell you exactly what he's going to develop into. Really, if you really want to go there, and he got some solid cap space available, so he'll be a problem. I'm on my podcast show. Tune into it. All right, love you. All right, and at D tackle, you're looking at a senior like they're gonna hurt up front because they're gonna lose production, but they got production coming back, and they kind of already addressed that over the first 2 recruiting cycles, right? So, in my opinion, with all this coming back, they can band-aid and cover, especially if these guys already been in the program, right? Everybody on this roster has been in the program, they've been in the system, they'll develop. It's all about what they're going to do production-wise, for sure. If I'm them, I'm fighting my ass off to Marion Thomas to come back. Same thing with Giddens. You don't want them guys leaving early at all. You want them to come back. But if they did leave, what are we talking about? Trayshawn Ruffin is still over here. He's ready to go as a shirt. And you still got some younger guys down there as well. And Vilama Mola, they talked about how he was the practice squad MVP all year. So we'll see what the 6'3", 340-pound gap specialist look like going forward. Now, North Carolina will be hurt because of the upperclassmen on their D line. But I do think they have the guys on roster already. But if I'm North Carolina, I'm looking for impact in the transfer portal on the D line somewhere, whether it's D tackle or defensive ends. I'm looking for impact from that transfer portal to really keep us, upperclassmen too. Like I'm not, or dog young guy, right? Like a guy that somebody got on their roster that they couldn't keep on their roster. That's a high 80, mid 80 guy, even though they're young, they're not going to stay because of deal breakers and shit like that. So if they could find somebody like that, like a senior, junior, or a young redshirt sophomore, freshman, something like that, that's like 85 and above, I think that'd be a win for North Carolina. And they're going to need to do that to really keep themselves in the mix of, you know what, we're going to defense win championships, offense sell tickets, and let's go, right? I do think they're going to be in that situation. They are very young at linebacker. Also, Alexander will be back. I mean, Thomas is down here as well, so they're going to be good there. Same thing at middle linebacker. They are very young there. At will linebacker, they're young there. House is going to the league for sure. I don't know if he'll get drafted, but he'll get in somebody's camp. And then they still got some young guys down here that they can deal with. Where North Carolina need help at, and I think the answer is on the roster already, somewhat. Right? They got one. They're going to have to, they're bringing them in, though. If you look at their recruiting class this year, they got some corners coming in. But this is where they were weak at all year, right? They had, like, for them to be one of the best teams in the country, they didn't have one of the best secondary cornerback rooms in the country, right? They're going to lose 2 for sure. They got some young, some guys that's going to come back for sure. They're not good enough. Their draft grades are not good for them to go anywhere as juniors. So they'll bring 3 back, and then they got some high school guys coming in. And again, I think this is a portal spot for them. At safety, you're looking at a senior that's leaving, but then they got a redshirt freshman on roster with a junior and Waters, right? So they're going to be good here as free safety. And at strong safety, they got a redshirt junior that they would love to get back, and Jaden Patterson. But he does have a 3rd round grade, so I don't know if he's coming back at all. And then Smith will be back, and then Hill will get off that red shirt. So they got some guys. North Carolina, if a Torrey Newkirk comes back for them, they should be in a national title next year. And they have a high chance of winning the conference again. The next up is the runner-up, and that's Clemson. Let's talk about Clemson, because I think this is a situation where it could be an advantage to them for the coach of the Clemson Tigers, right? Here's the thing, right? This is what I will say. Denson has been a starter or played significant football since year 1. Okay, let's just talk about it. The knock on Denson is throwing the football. Simple as that, right? And a lot of guys would be like, well, he threw for 4,600. He threw for 45 touchdowns. I mean, he also rushed for 1,300. Like, what we talking about? The passing game. Like, what we talking about, right? And then I would say, stop looking at the blind stats and look at the information that you really need to look at, right? And let's just take a look at what it is. As a passer against Oklahoma in week 2 in an overtime loss, 53-52, 55 yards passing. Arkansas, he lost the ball game but threw for 307 yards, and that's the game where you like, true, right? Then he broke the rules against the computer, and he went crazy against the computer again. And then he comes back, and he started to look good. The number 11th team in the country in Louisville. He has a 205 QBR, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 71%. That's what you're looking for, right? But it's a seesaw. Computer, we're going to shit. All of us do it. Against Florida State, 173 yards. Against SMU, 182 yards. Computer, Notre Dame, 157 yards. Starting to get the drift now. South Carolina, 195. North Carolina, 188. Computer, bonkers. Arizona State, 142. And then he goes Oklahoma and redeems himself from 55 yards and add damn near 300 yards to that. And this is the game, even though they lost, this is the game that you bring the tape back and say, this is what we're going to need out of you next year. And I bring that up because he will be back next year. But I also think they went to Penn State and they brought in Michael Van Buren Jr., who can give them everything that they're looking for in the passing game and still do all the same shit in the run game. If you ask me, this will be a quarterback battle next year. Unless there's a 5-star coming in or a big-time 4-star coming in that we don't know about, to me, Clemson, even though Denson has been a playoff quarterback over the last 3 seasons, will be in a flat-out quarterback battle next year in Clemson, South Carolina. And it's going to come down to development, right? And I think Coach Kemp is not going to treat Denson as the starter. I think he's going to make him go out there and earn it in spring ball. And it starts now, right? What are you doing to become a leader for this football team? Because that's the one thing he lacked. Colorado's going through it in real life with Caden Salter. All the talent in the world, lacks confidence and leadership. And I think that's the reason why Clemson hasn't not just played for a national title, haven't won a national title with the roster that they had over the last couple of seasons. And I think they just don't have the right leader at quarterback right now. So Denson's going to have to show that he's willing to get the guys together and work their ass off by themselves, right? Like, take your receivers out, do some things with them, and get some work in and really grow a rapport with them so you can understand how to throw the football in moments where you need to be that guy. And the problem is the reports are coming out of South Carolina that Michael Van Buren has been doing that shit since he transferred to South Carolina. And Denson out there partying and shit. They caught him in Arkansas at a party 3 nights ago, and nobody talked about it because they wanted to hide that shit. But the kid he's a wild card. He reminded me of the quarterback for if you ever watched the movie The Program. Kane, the quarterback Kane, who had an alcohol problem. He had to go to fucking rehab. That's Denson. He keep popping E-pills and shit and having orgies and all types of dumb shit. and the nigga ain't getting his shit together on the football field. He better get it the fuck together. Because it tell you how talented he is that he can bullshit and still be the shit. But then you got Michael Van Buren, who out of Bowie, Maryland, ain't playing no games right now. And he didn't leave Penn State because he couldn't be the starting quarterback over there in Penn State. He left Penn State because he wanted to come to a program that to him was serious and that had a chance to win a national title. And when you got a guy that's coming there for a national title, not individual awards, not individual shit, he coming there because he want to play with a football team, a program, and he wants to be the guy that get them over the top. So we're going to watch this battle play out all off season between Denson and Van Buren Jr., in my opinion. All right, so you're looking at Gideon Davison, dog. He comes back, I don't know. But if you're his agent, are you telling him to come back and play football for the Clemson Tigers? There's nothing else you need to show us. Now, some would say, right, he's another back that had 1,000 yards rushing, but we watched him as a true freshman go bonkers for Clemson as a rusher. Like we know he can run the football, right? We know that, and we also know he's one of the best receivers in the country, for real, as a running back. So we know these scenarios, we know these situations. I don't think there's any reason for him to come back. It's nothing else for you to come back for unless you just want to be one. And here's the thing: it's not a quarterback position; it's a running back position. Your lifespan in the NFL is shorter than a motherfucking frog leg. So in my opinion, why waste another year in college football? You don't have to. You can go right to the NFL and be a second round pick and really, really get in the program and do some things. So in my opinion, I don't see him coming back at all. Now, if he does come back, man, I will question his support team. What the fuck are y'all doing? Like, I get it. His mom is on some, I don't give a fuck about that NFL shit if he don't graduate. I get it. But she'll change her mind when that big ass house is, she get the keys to that big ass crib. She'll change her mind when she ain't gotta go to 2 jobs every 7 days a week. She'll change her mind. Devon Pettis on a red shirt, he'll come back as a red shirt freshman, and I think he'll be the guy. And I think Clemson will change their identity a little bit. Will they throw the ball to their running backs? Yes. But I think they're going to have no problem giving this kid 25 carries if they need to, right? I think they're going to show running back by committee as well. They got some guys on this roster that once they develop, you're going to see some things out of them. But Pettis is going to be their guy next year. And I think they're going to put him in a situation where everything's going to line up to the point where Pettis is going to be so damn good that you might be having a conversation about him as a Heisman guy. And I really see that happening. But it's going to go hand in hand with these two things right here. Who starts quarterback? If Van Buren's the quarterback, you might could say he'll be in. Yes, Mom. Come on, Mom. Don't like Farrell upstairs. Don't. I'm on the show. I need you to either come up here and hang out or chill out or come get your dog because I'm in the middle of a show, sweetheart. Now, they had one of the veteranest receiver rooms in the country, and as you can see, their top 3 are out of here. And they don't have a strong receiver room. And then you got to ask yourself, why? What's going on? What's going on in Clemson? This is not like them, right? They will be bringing back Malik Clark as a redshirt sophomore. And then you got to ask yourself, is he going to come back? I mean, now he don't have the production and all that, but you know and I know during pro day, if he decides to declare pro day, he go out there and run that 4.3 or that 4.4 and that 6'2", 197 frame, you know and I know he could be in somebody's camp the very next day, right? Like, it's just that simple. I wouldn't go, and you better pray to God he doesn't because he's going to be your best receiver returning. And then you got guys that just need to develop. So I don't know what they're going to do in that receiver room. And because of that, I go back to the quarterback position and tell you this is probably why Denson needs to start and show that he's a leader and turn that shit around and stop partying and get to it, because that 1,300 yards rushing can help that offense out when they don't have elite receivers running across the field all over the place. Like, So it's gonna be, man, it's gonna be some questions in Clemson, right? And with that being said, Clemson has always found themselves in the top 10, no matter what shit's going on over there. They find themselves in the top 10. But I do think there's gonna be some really big questions to answer at the skill positions on offense. Now, again, we don't know what they're going to bring in through the transfer portal or through the high school rankings that will be able to come in and be day one players for them right away. But right now, when you look at the roster, I would not call them a championship or bust team. I would call them, can you maintain your prestige, right? Can you maintain being in the playoffs? Do you get to the playoffs this year? And I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna be as easy as you think it's gonna be, right? Because most of y'all that's watching, that's still tuned in, paying attention to the ACC and what 2027 will look like. Most of y'all gonna say, yeah, well, it's probably between Clemson and North Carolina, right? Like them two, want the winner out of that probably, you know, is gonna sit in the quarterfinals and blah 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 blah. And I'll tell you, you're a goddamn fool if you think that's gonna happen. Because I'll tell you that SMU is better. I'll tell you that Georgia Tech is on a rise over there. I'll tell you that motherfucker Florida State has shown that they can beat anybody, and they've shown they can play with anybody. And I'll give you 5 reasons why. I'll give you 6 reasons why Louisville is the best team in the ACC next year. So, what's going on with roster? Like, you got one of the best programs in the country. I don't understand where the receivers are at over there. Like, what are we doing? God damn it. I need a 30-second break. What, Mom? Yes, Farrell's up here. Come on up here, Mom. Just come on up. They're going to have to get that receiver room cleaned up. They're loaded in the tight end room. Every last one of these old receivers / tight ends now are dogs. It's just that simple, right? So they're solid here. In my opinion, I don't think they have any problem in there. But my question is, like, what's wrong, babe? Mom, come here for a second. Come on. Because I know why you're doing this right now. Just relax. What do you need, sweetheart?
Nothing. I was getting going.
Just looking for the dog?
Yeah.
All right. You want to take him downstairs with you?
Yeah, where's that?
You want to take the dog downstairs with you?
I don't care.
Or you want him to stay up here?
Well, do he want that?
Well, he'll tell you exactly what he wants. He's going to run right under my legs because he don't want to go downstairs. But just take him if you want him in your presence. Just take him. You walking away and you didn't take the dog. God damn, Mom. Do you want the dog to go downstairs with you or not?
Nah.
Do you want Farrell downstairs with you?
You want to go outside? Boop, 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 boop. It's him trying to do it.
All right, well, just leave him there. All right. So I like what their tight end room look like, and I do think it can help a quarterback like Van Buren, and I also think that it'll help Denson as well. But just at the weapons at receiver scares me here, right? Like, you're losing 3 top dogs, and I don't see nothing behind it that makes me feel like Clemson is going to be a fucking scary, productive offense. But then they made up for it. They'll make up for it with what they do with their quarterback, right? And they got 2 that can do exactly the same thing. Now, one is proven he can rush for 1,000 yards and throw for 4,000. The other one is waiting for his turn to do it, but they got the same type of archetype and same type of attributes where they could be the same type of guy. Like, but then you got to start looking at what they're gonna get on their offensive line. Now, Mario O'Neal's on the 82. They really upperclassmen here, but that's not where their strength is at, right? They're going to lose a lot of hair as well, but again, that's not where their strength is at on the line, right? Then you're looking at a sophomore Grimm, they'll lose Sweat or Sweet, and that's not their strength, right? But then you come over here and you got guys that'll be starters, all of them, right? They got a blue chipper and Leo Delaney. They got Carter Scruggs still here, David Moore. They got Chancellor Barclay still here. So they got they got 4 out of 5 starters sitting right here, especially if Thurman come back, right? And then you're looking at Jacobs at right tackle, and you still got the freshman and Mike Adler. That's going to be in development mode. So as weak as their line started to look, when you really look at it, their right guards, they got tackles playing guard right now. And they've been training them as guards on purpose, but they got 2 big time tackles at guard that will help them out no matter what, right? Like Delaney and Scruggs both are tackles. They're not guards, right? Moore, Barclay is guards. So they're going to be fine on the O line, completely fine on the O line. And they're going to be fine on the defensive end in the defensive end room as well. Like they got guys, so they're going to be good. They'll lose McRae, who came over from Florida, but then they got guys again, right? Like they still have enough talent to be able to be talented on defense. They do lose two big time D tackles, but again, they got a sophomore and a redshirt freshman down here that can play some football and that will be asked to step in and be those guys right away. Same thing, Kilgore, sophomore. You need some development to happen here for sure at left. You're looking at middle linebacker. All guys will come back, right? Got to get some depth over here and some development over here. Sammy Brown gonna go, but his younger brother is on his way, so they'll be fine there. And then you're looking at a bunch of freshmen on at the will linebacker, and these guys can play edge rushers as long as or as well as middle linebacker or outside linebacker. So they'll be fine there. In the cornerback room, you're going to lose a senior, a junior. He's gone. I don't think Hampton comes back. If he does, so be it. But then they got Shavar's Young Jr. I like him. Gibson is good. Him and his brother, both of them dogs. You know, look at going forward. You look at what they have, right? And you got O'Brien, Hamilton sitting down here waiting to develop. They got some guys. So they got depth at that cornerback room. And then in the safety room, they got depth as well. All right, Saints is going to walk out the building. This is why I was battling him for transfer comes in. He'll get in the camp. I don't know if he get drafted, but he'll be in somebody's camp. But they got really good shirts, so they'll be fine. Really good speed too, so they'll be fine there. And that strong safety, they're young as hell at the strong safety position. So Clemson going to be a problem in their own right? But I don't think they're going to be the best team in the ACC next year. I just don't. I think North Carolina will hold that title with or without a Torrey Newkirk, but I think Louisville might be the best team in the conference. And I will get to Louisville, and that'll be the last team I do on this show until I come back on for the next show, whether it's after the Natty or before the Natty. So we still got national championship talk to do today as well. If you're getting your two speed to excel, you better type your name in the comment section and let me know you watched the show. That's going to be your ticket to get it. And then if you've done that, then you can DM me the freshman, redshirt freshman, true freshman, or incoming freshman that you want your two speed to excel on. Just DM me and let me know what it's going to be. If it's going to be somebody on your roster right now or somebody incoming, just DM me and let me know. Incoming from it, wait till the incoming freshman class come in. Or I want it on this redshirt freshman, or I want it on this freshman. Now remember, if the year turn over and you wait and you don't get your shit, that's on you. I'm not going to sit here and be doing shit when the new season starts. You better do it right now. Florida State.
Good.
All right, so Florida State got Applebite and Sperry. Sperry played really well for them last year, and I think he'll take that next step. And the thing about him is he gives them a dual threat ability to be able to run Gus Malzahn's offense. That's the problem. They needed a quarterback that can run a complete offense, and you can't run Gus Malzahn's offense without a dual threat quarterback. And they had it in Sperry. Sperry stepped up and he played big time football for them, and I think he'll take the next step next season. My question is going to be, what's going to happen in his running back room? Because you almost need Cam Davis to come back, but Cam Davis has played enough football to say, nah, I ain't coming back, I'm going to the draft. I'm throwing a bag at him because you need him to come back, right? Because I don't know what else you got now. Obviously, they can go to the portal and bring in a couple of running backs, no problem. But I think they need to fight to bring him back. My boy, LaWayne McCoy, is on his way to the NFL for sure, right? But then you got Carter, who played really well. You still got Boggs in the building. You got these young freshmen down here that's going to have to develop for you. Now, Florida State hasn't really been known for the greatest wide receiver rooms, right, as of late. But they've been serviceable, and they've always had a guy that's been a guy in that room since we started Homecoming League. I do think they'll have multiple guys coming into next year. I think they're going to have some guys that's going to develop on this roster. They're going to bring portal guys in, and their high school rankings is going to be solid. I also know both these tight ends will be back next year. Then you ask yourself, can they protect their quarterback, right? They're going to lose a senior. They got a redshirt junior who has an 85 overall. He'll be back. At center, they're going to go young there. They got a 90 overall, and they got some young talent in this room that could probably get moved to different positions. And you're looking at sophomore here. So they do got linemen that'll come back, right? They're going to lose their tackles. But then everything else can come back, and they got some depth there that'll develop into some things. But then Florida State did a really good job in the 2026 class on defense. But McGuire, the redshirt sophomore, he'll be back for sure. Rankins might not come back as a true sophomore though. Like you got to fight your ass off to keep him back, and then you keep hoping that Jesse Harrell develops some more along with Lee, right? And then you got freshmen down here and Zach Land, Isaiah Land's brother, Florida A&M leading sack rusher of all time, who's in the NFL right now currently for the Colts. But Land is going to be that guy. I think he'll develop into a monster. Then at D tackle, you still got my boy Wynn. Wynn ain't leaving. Wynn going to come back for a senior year. This is my guy. He told the world he was coming back for a senior year. I think Wynn come back. Now we can change that. If Florida State don't talk real NIL with him, like you got to make me want to stay. If you got to be able to match what I can make coming out. And Florida State got deep pockets; they can do it. Just don't expect Dion as a alumni to be sending y'all no bread. And they got a bunch of young guys up and coming, so they're gonna be fine over here, in my opinion, on a D line. At linebacker, I mean, they got to get better here, right? Their Sams are weak as fuck. They got some solid middle linebackers that's going to have to continue to develop. And then at will linebacker, what we looking like? Sophomore and Bates. Everett Bates was a monster for them all year. They do got sophomore Maddox and then true freshman Way. So they got some guys, right? And then in that cornerback room, they're going to be hit with for the transfer from Miami will go to the NFL. He'll give them a high draft grade. Chad Woodson, little Chucky, is going to be back. Lester should come back. I don't think Lester will leave early. Joseph should not be back. He'll be out of there. Bates should come back. Like all these guys will come back, in my opinion. And then they got some guys. Remember, the 5 stars. They went and got guys last year. Don't forget that. Don't skitch on it. Remember, Garvin was a 5-star.
You hear Stanford had a donor donate $50 million to the football team.
Shit about to get real. Meanwhile, Colorado won't go in their pockets, but bitching over being a dormant program for the last 18 years. Dion coming in there, they won't get him no players. Texas Tech just put $48 billion in they shit, and all these programs is getting money all throughout it, and they want Dion to pull a rabbit out of his fucking ass and make shit happen over there. They ain't got no bread. But back to Cal Hill. He was a big time 4-star. So they got a future cornerback room that's bright, and it's gonna start with Woodson, Garvin, and Cal Hill. And then at the safety level, upperclassmen for sure, but they still got some guys that should bring their asses back to college football with some really good speed too. So I like it. Like they do have. Look, don't worry about the senior leaving that strong safety because they got these guys to be able to flip back strong and all that. So Florida State is going to be right back in the mix, and they're going to play solid team football. You don't have to worry about mega superstars, even though I think Kevin Wynn is a mega superstar, their D tackle. But they're going to have a bunch of guys that's going to play serviceable football that's going to keep them in it to better make them important going forward, right? And then I'm not talking about SMU today. I'm going to stop with where I think is, honest to God, this is how I feel. This team is going to be unstoppable next year offensively. The Fab Five is back. Briggs, Cherry, he got to come back, right? Running back, K'Mon Spell, dog, he'll be back. At the wide receiver, they got the motherfucking them guys, right? Miles and Cook is back as true sophomores. Then you got Broomell back as a freshman, and he's not even looking at Longo down here as well. They got weapons at the tight end. They got one of the best tight ends in the country as one of the best young tight ends in the country in Amir Rowe. But that's not just it, right? Like this reminds me of North Carolina's roster. And why? Because the O-line all will be back. Look at this left tackle room. So you don't look at none of these guards and be like, well, their guard kind of weak. Well, you see all them damn left tackles? True sophomore Max Mertz is back. True sophomore and Charlie Edgeworth is back. And at right tackle, true freshman Cortez Lester is back. Like, they're going to have one of the strongest offensive lines in the country or one of the most experienced offensive weapons in the country. And Louisville is my sleeper to win the ACC next year. And you say, yeah, they can score with motherfucker, but they can't stop nobody. And I'll say to you, okay, all right. Well, they're going to better go at least 4 deep at defensive end. As you can see, 2 sophomores sitting over here ready to go. Redshirt sophomore will be back. You got some shit. Don't play with them. They're young here, and they're going to get better there, but they're going to ride off of Ronald Willies. And then you start looking at this linebacker room of speed kills. Mataga at Mike. You got Adams and McKay. And they're still young here. Oh, my God. Then you start looking at the Will, redshirt freshman, and Ballard. So at linebacker, all their starters is coming back. And then that corner, you tell me who the fuck cornerback room going to look better than theirs once the development happens. Like, Louisville is here. Y'all better stop playing with Rob. He the fuck here, and it's great be an issue over here in the ACC because of Louisville. I'm telling y'all right now, they're going to have one of the better rosters in the country, and that's what the program's supposed to do, right? Louisville and little old Kentucky, quiet. They came in ranked year 1. They lost a couple games they probably could have won playing big time teams. And blah blah blah, blah blah blah. And then you realize they took North Carolina to 7 overtimes. And is that the true identity of Louisville? Can they do that? And can they consistently do that? Right now, the coach is going to have to coach his ass off to do what I think they can do, which is playing the ACC championship in 2027. Facts. They're back. Like, there's nothing that they're losing when it comes down to starters on defense at all, except for McCullough. That's it. And you can also argue Jimmy Carter at 6'4", 220 pounds is a bigger upside than 6'2", 197 pound Dave McCullough. Louisville could be scary good next year, right? I just don't want to see what happened in South Carolina in 2025 real life happen with Louisville, where they got the roster of talent to be able to motherfucking win the conference and be a playoff team, and they underachieve. That's all you don't want to see over there, right? And then the last team is going to be Georgia Tech. And they got a new coach over there, and there's a reason why that coach is over there, because the one thing he's going to have to deal with is a 3-man battle at quarterback. Who's going to be the starter? Is it going to be Cameron Dye, who actually was the starter this year? Or is it going to be true freshman who will be a redshirter coming in Elihu Okalula? Or Felipe Grimes? Who's going to take the starting job here, right? Whoever takes the starting job ain't going to have a problem handing the ball off to any one of these running backs. Antoine Hennish, you got Marquise Daniels, and you got Marquise Gibbs all in this backfield coming back. Only thing hurts them if these niggas portal bound. They go to the portal, they're going to get killed. Now, they got 4 receivers that are a problem. Nate Cohn, 6'3", 197. Need I mention? Jafar Gene Knowles, super slot, 98 speed, 99 excel. You're looking at Kentrell Davis, 6'3", 180, 94 speed, 95 excel. And Darnell Collins, 94, 94. Like, you see it, it's not. And then don't sleep on Jeremy Winston down here, who's also another big body, 6'4". Like, they have a like, listen, whoever's the quarterback is going to have weapons for sure to deal with over there. Tight end position, they're going to have to figure it out here. But then you start looking at that line. Can we get good on the O-line, right? So far, I'm not seeing nothing that is really going to stick out on the O-line, and that's going to be something they're going to have to deal with, right? Offensive line, that's usually their strong point for the Georgia Tech offense, but they are making a transition from what the old coach was giving them and how they play to versus what they got now. Even though they got the dual threat quarterbacks to do that type of stuff, I don't know if they're going to be into that. I think they're going to give you a spread offense, and they're going to light you up, throw that ball all around the park. And they're going to need the line to protect you, right? and they don't have that right now. But they do got a bright light. They got the two twins at right tackle, and Courtney and Cortland Hurd, the Hurd brothers, that will start. One of them actually probably going to play tackle, if not both of them. But they got guys that they can build from right here, right? They got two. They just got to find three more starters on that offensive line to keep them competent up front. And if they can do that, they're going to be in a good situation, right? Because I do think all these guys will come back. What does Jordan Floyd turn into? We'll see. But offensively, I think they're going to have some weapons. They just got to gel together and get used to what this new coach is trying to do, the system, and all that culture building is going to determine how good Georgia Tech is going to be in the 2027 season. On the defensive side of the ball, they're going to lose some older guys at the edge rushers, but then they got my boy Alex Willis is in the building, redshirt freshman. He should be a monster next year. Then you're looking at D tackles, redshirt freshman Freddie Wilson, and then you're looking at Amir Clark. They'll come back. They give him a stout D tackle room. And then you're looking at the Sam linebacker. They got some young gunners here that got to develop into something, right? Their starter will be back. At linebacker, they are really good at middle linebacker. CJ Gamble, and you're looking at Kamani Morales. Both of those guys coming back. Really good speed at linebacker, good size, athletic ability. They can cover and they can play the run. So they're going to be really good there at middle linebacker. And then at the will, we're going to have to figure something out there, right? But they can get through it. Like Temple will come back and we'll give him significant minutes. And as a starter, he'll be better. So if he can get to about 83, 84, they'll be in a good situation. In the cornerback room, they got a senior that's out of here, but then they got two young guys that I would think are blue chippers, in my opinion. And then they still got a nice little room down here where they got some guys, right, that will develop and get them good depth and special team pieces. But they do got three starters at corner for sure in this room right now. And that safety, upperclassmen for sure, but their faster guys are down here as sophomores, so they should be all right, especially at safety. Same thing here. Committee going to be a dog next season. Really good speed at that safety position. Again, Georgia Tech, it's going to look really good on paper. It's going to be what they do up front, offensively and defensively. It's going to determine how good this football program can be next year. I will say don't sleep on them. Don't think that they'll go in the ACC and stink it up and be at the bottom bracket. I think this team will also, depending on what schedule look like, will also be in a situation where they could be playing for an ACC championship. I don't think that it will be this year coming up, but I do think they'll be in the mix eventually. I think you're going to see Louisville and North Carolina in the ACC championship in 2027, 2028 year. With that being said, we'll come back with the Big 12, Big 10, and then we'll keep going through till we do all the Power 4 conferences and what these teams looking like in 2027. Again, if you are going to get your 2-speed to excel, you better have your team name typed in the comment section. If not, if you don't have that, don't holler at me. With that being said, I'm going to hit some count.